Sometimes, what the heart needs most to hear is this: you don't have to understand. You only need to trust. But trusting, when everything feels uncertain, can be the hardest thing to do. Trusting takes courage. It means letting go of control. It means stopping the fight with your own hands and accepting that there is a God taking care of what your eyes still can't see. Maybe you're walking through a season like that. A time full of questions and almost no answers. A time when the exhaustion goes beyond the physical. It's spiritual, emotional, deep. And even so, you keep going. You carry on as best as you can, smiling on the outside, falling apart on the inside. But today, you can pause, just for a moment. You can drop your shoulders. You can take a deep breath. You can let the walls around your heart soften. Not because everything suddenly made sense, but because you decided, even without understanding, to take a step toward trust. The peace you're looking for isn't in knowing what will happen tomorrow. It's in the surrender you choose today, because trusting God doesn't mean ignoring the pain. It means saying, even in pain, I know I'm not alone. It means declaring, I don't have to have all the answers, because I belong to the one who already does. And that changes everything. It changes the way you wake up. It changes the weight you carry. It changes the rhythm of your breath, of your soul, of your faith. You weren't made to carry the world on your back. You don't need to constantly prove your strength. You don't need to hide the fact that you're tired. God sees. He sees how hard you're trying. He sees you lying down at night, while your mind keeps racing. He sees the quiet prayers you whisper with a lump in your throat. He sees you saying, I'm fine, when deep down, you're not. And the most beautiful thing is, He doesn't ask you to pretend. He only asks you to trust. Trust even when it feels like nothing is happening. Trust even when the silence is too long. Trust even when waiting turns into tears. God doesn't work in the rhythm of this world. He works at the pace of eternity. And sometimes, what feels like delay is just preparation. Sometimes, what seems like absence is actually God, building something deeper inside of you, something that no one can take away, something that doesn't depend on circumstances, but on faith. And faith isn't about feelings, it's a choice. Faith is when you say, I don't understand, but I trust. I can't see a way, but I know God is with me. I don't feel strong, but I know I can rest in Him. That is real faith. Faith from real people. Faith that is born in the dark and grows in the waiting. And that faith, it's already inside you. Maybe hidden, maybe wounded, but still alive, waiting for space to breathe, waiting for a chance to grow. So right now, pause, close your eyes if you want. Breathe slowly and say to yourself, even if your voice trembles, I don't need to control everything. I only need to trust. That simple trust is when you choose to rest, even if the storm hasn't passed. It's when you lie down in the boat, just like Jesus, and you know you're safe, not because the sea is calm, but because He's in the boat with you. Maybe today won't bring all the answers. Maybe you'll still have questions that go unresolved. But what if, instead of wearing yourself out trying to understand, you simply chose to trust? What if you started this week with less pressure and more surrender? What if, instead of chasing peace, you stopped and let it catch up to you? That peace does exist. You can't buy it. You can't force it. It comes when you rest in God. And it starts like this, with a breath of surrender, with a whispered prayer, with a soul that chooses to say, I don't know what's coming, but I know who I trust. Trust is a silent practice, almost invisible. It doesn't require fanfare. It doesn't need big declarations. Most of the time, trust is simply continuing, getting out of bed even when your heart feels heavy, doing what needs to be done even without motivation, laying the small things before God, even when you're not sure He's listening, but He is. You may not see it, you may not feel it, you may even doubt it, but God is closer than you think. He is in the details. You overlook in the protection you didn't notice, in the strength that helped you rise when you thought you couldn't, in the unexpected embrace, in that message that arrived at just the right moment, in the tear that dried quietly in the middle of the night. Trust means recognizing that you may not always see God's hand in the moment, but with time, everything begins to make sense. You look back and realize that no was protection, that the waiting was preparation, that the closed door was a rescue, and that the silence was God teaching you to listen with your heart. It's hard to see any of that in the middle of the pain. The human soul craves immediate answers. It wants to know what, when, how. But God doesn't work under pressure. He works with purpose, and purpose rarely aligns with haste. Sometimes the delay is God strengthening you from the inside out, preparing your spirit for what's ahead. You can't see it, but He's working. You don't feel it, but He's shaping you. Because more important than changing your circumstances is transforming your heart. More important than fulfilling your plans is aligning you with His. Trust is a kind of rest. It's a sacred space where you stop fighting in your own strength and begin to be led by the hand of God. It doesn't mean being passive. It means surrendering. It means you keep doing your part, but without carrying the weight of the world on your back. It means you learn to quiet your mind and listen to the voice of faith that gently whispers, He's taking care of it. How many times have you overwhelmed yourself trying to be everything to everyone, trying to fix what wasn't yours to fix, trying to hold together what was never in your hands? What if today you let God be God? What if today you simply said, Lord, I don't know how this will work out, but I place it in your hands. That's trust. It's letting go. Even when it's scary, it's saying, I trust your care more than I trust my need to control. And when you do that, something changes. Maybe not around you, but inside you. Your soul exhales. Your heart slows down. And a peace begins to rise, a peace that can't be explained, only felt. This peace is not a result of logic, it's the fruit of surrender. It comes when you realize you don't need to chase after peace to have it, that tomorrow is not in your hands, and that's not a problem, it's a gift, because the same God who holds today is already waiting for you in tomorrow. So you can rest. You can stop fighting against life. You can stop trying to predict every outcome. Peace does not live in certainty. It lives in the place where you choose to trust. What if today you made that choice? What if today you took a deep breath and said, Lord, take control? What if today you let go of the weight of what if and embraced, let your will be done? Trust isn't a magical feeling, it's a daily decision. Sometimes it's made every hour, sometimes it's made in silence, with tears in your eyes, but always, always, it is received by God. He honors those who trust, He holds those who surrender, He leads those who rest in Him. You only need to trust, and this might be the beginning of the peace your soul has been waiting for. Sometimes All God is waiting for is for you to stop, to take a breath, and to admit, I can't do this alone. Not as someone giving up, but as someone surrendering. Trust begins right there in that exact moment, when you acknowledge your limits, your doubts, your weaknesses, and still choose to open your heart to the one who can do what you cannot. It's not about showing strength, it's about knowing where your strength ends and where his begins. You might be facing a time when everything feels out of place. Maybe there are tensions in your home. Maybe your body is tired or ill. Maybe your mind is exhausted from all the what-ifs. Maybe you're just at your limit, and even so, here you are, still searching, still praying, still trying to find peace. That is faith. Faith is not the absence of fear or confusion or pain. Faith is continuing, even with all of that still inside you. It's lifting your hands, even if they tremble, and saying, Lord, I trust you, even though it hurts, even though I don't understand, even though it's hard, I trust. It's when you remove the armor of certainty and put on the clothing of surrender, when you trade anxiety for rest, when you stop swimming against the current and begin to float in grace. It's there, in that place of surrender, where heaven meets earth. It's in the silence that God speaks. It's in the stillness that peace grows so right now. I invite you to pray with me, not to fix everything at once, but to gently, piece by piece, give God what's been weighing on your chest. If you can, close your eyes and open your soul. Father, I know how many times I've tried to fix everything by myself. I tried to control, predict, ensure, and I ended up tired, frustrated, and lost. Today, I choose to stop. I choose to trust. I choose to place in your hands all that is beyond my reach. Take, Lord, my anxiety. Take the fears I can't explain. Take the dreams that haven't yet come to life. Take the pain that no one sees. I give you what I can't carry, and I rest, not because I have guarantees, but because I have a God who has never failed. And now, in faith, we pray together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Now, just breathe. You don't have to solve everything today. You don't have to carry everything right now. You only need to trust that God is already working on what you can't see, and He is in the silence, in the unseen, in the perfect timing. While you rest, God is working. While you pray, God is moving mountains. While you trust, heaven is making a way. If this prayer touched your heart, if it brought relief, or clarity, or even a moment of peace, come back to it whenever you need. This is your refuge, a space where you can be real, be human, and be whole, even when tired. And if you know someone who's struggling to trust, someone trying to carry everything alone, share this prayer with them. Sometimes all a soul needs is to remember they don't have to do it all, that they can just rest and let God do the rest. If you'd like to continue this journey with me, if you want more prayers and reflections like this, subscribe to this channel. That way, you'll be reminded day after day that trust is not a demand. It's a gentle choice, and in every surrendered step, peace begins to grow. Today, just for today. Trust and let God take care of the rest.